sure those airlock doors are secure. Yeah, we don't want to revisit movie night or anything like that.
Welcome to Podcast Night on Gargantua-1. I'm your host, Grimmia, and I'm here with my co-host, Colin Valentine.
Hello, everyone.
And it's time to talk about the terrible secret of Turtle Bay.
Perfect.
The pilot was written and directed by Jackson Public back in 2000, and then it was greenlit by Adult Swim in 2002.
So there's a 2-year gap between this and the next episode?
There was a 2-year gap between the script of the pilot being written and then being produced. They had 12 weeks to produce it, which I am not sure if that's the standard for animation. I know South Park is literally a week, but they have a lot of creative control.
Makes sense.
A few things had to... Actually, only one thing in the... Behind... what is it? It's the art book. The Venture Brothers art book has animator Ken Plume interviewing Public and Hammer about their experience on the show. And they do... When they talk about the pilot, the only thing Public said he had to change was Otaku Senzuri. Okay. He was changed to a ninja.
What was he before?
Because of the events of 9/11, they changed his race, his ethnicity.
So I'm assuming he was
fair.
Like intended to be East Indian.
He was intended to be Middle Eastern.
Oh, okay. Sorry, yeah, that's what I meant. Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. I think personally, it ended up being funnier this way.
It worked out, and then they could really bring in the whole acupuncture thing at the beginning, because that was like
that got me before the credits, where he throws them, and it's like, oh, he killed this guy. The guy says, like, hey, I feel great. I don't want to smoke anymore.
God, acupuncture sounds so good right now.
I got it once in my spine. No, that was really funny, and I felt like it set up the episode really well to have your very serious evil villain doing evil villain stuff, and then immediately subvert it with, wow, I feel great. Like, okay, all right. I see where we're going tone-wise.
Very good tone for the humor.
Yeah. Lets you know what to expect from the jump.
I said earlier, they had 12 weeks of production, and the last month of production, Doc Hammer was on tour with his band.
Okay.
So he returned a few weeks before the premiere. I think even in the art book, I think they said they got sick, so they couldn't even attend the premiere.
Oh my goodness.
But Hammer did all of the animation and the title work and the music for the show.
Okay.
Maybe while on tour, but he did all of that. And it was animated in Flash, which is why that blood all over Brock is so square.
Yeah. No, it was, for Flash, it looks great.
It's very clunky, stiff, but that's just how Flash animation was.
Right. I'm looking forward to seeing the next episode, which is not in Flash, correct?
No. The pilot's the only one done in Flash.
Do you know what they used for the rest of them?
I don't know. I could probably look into it. By next episode, I'll probably know.
It's something. They used a program.
There's probably a professional program they used.
Yeah. Speaking of Brock, just with him coming up, I feel like you'd told me before that he was voiced by Patrick Warburton, but I forgot. And as soon as I saw him in the opening credits, I'm just like, he's voiced by Patrick Warburton, I can tell. Like, just immediately, before I heard his voice, I'm like, no, I can tell.
Public and Warburton worked together on The Tick, so he called him and was like, hey, do you want to do this character?
Well, I thought one of the characters was also voicing one of the Ninja Turtles at the time.
Possibly. Public does the voice for Dr. Girlfriend, and it sounds pretty close to how Doc Hammer ends up doing her voice, with that kind of deep, gravelly, 2-pack-a-day kind of thing.
Right. According to Wikipedia, which is my source for everything, the Venture Bros pilot was February 16th, 2003, and
yes.
A week before, February 8th, 2003, the guy who voices Dean was on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles voicing Leonardo.
Oh, he is Dean, isn't he? Michael something or other.
Michael
Michael Santa
Nicholas. Yeah, Michael Sinter Nicholas.
Yeah, he's
But that's
French.
It's crazy to me that within a week of each other.
He's in something else Guppy and I watched semi-recently that we never knew he was in before.
Okay.
And we just had to, like, rewind it, because, like, where have we heard this guy's voice before? It was probably some anime or something we were watching, but...
Okay, oh my gosh. Oh my, did a lot of anime, this guy. Yeah. Wow. He was Full Metal Alchemist.
He's Origami Cyclone in Tiger and Bunny.
Definitely, I instantly, like, I saw Brock Sampson, I was like, oh, he's voiced by Patrick Warburton. He looks like he's voiced by...
His characters do have a certain look.
They do, right? And it's just that... I don't even know how to, like, phrase it. It's just that look of him, you know?
It's just that Patrick Warburton look.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you see Patrick Warburton's face, like, it's like, oh yeah, okay.
It makes a lot of sense with his face.
Like, Joe Swanson just looks like him. Definitely a good choice for the VA there. I was surprised, I think, because again, I went in very blind on the show. I didn't, like, know anything about the characters at all. And I think one thing that kind of surprised me, even though I don't know if it should have, was that Rusty hates his sons.
Disdain, I think, is the best word.
Yeah, sorry, that's fair.
He treats them with disdain.
Like,
I don't know if
the first scene where they walk in, and he just, like, has this look of he just looks pissed.
They're annoying.
That they're there, yeah,
He's
they're
just
annoying.
Annoyed by their I've seen the whole series and the movie, so I can't answer any questions on that yet.
No, I won't ask any. But yeah, no, like, that surprised me. I liked it immediately, though, just, like, again, going with, like, the tone where, and I mentioned this before we started recording, when it's like, Ma Venture didn't raise no fool. Hank, we don't have a mother.
I love that line.
And they just stop for, like, a good 30 seconds.
Just, like, Dean starts picking at his pocket.
Yeah! And then just blast him to the hangers of rotten banana. Like, okay, you guys are coping poorly, I can tell. It was good, I liked it. It was a good start.
Having seen all of it, I thought it'd be fun for me to pick out a reference I never noticed before, just because there's a lot of references in every single episode.
Yeah.
So one I never noticed before, and probably wouldn't until you were doing your Spider-Man business on the behind the panel. Beyond the panel.
A little plug there for me.
The UN science director has Osborn hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never noticed that, and then I was listening to Beyond the Panel, and I'm like,
horizontal cornrows.
Look up some old Spider-Man comics, because that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then by chance,
you're like,
that guy has the same hair as fucking Crazy Pants McGee.
No,
Norman
that
Osborn.
was crazy.
Same name. Crazy Pants McGee and Norman Osborn.
I'm gonna be honest, my favorite in general, everything with the episode, was just the brothers' weird antics.
I love the way they don't swear and go, they're Hardy Boys.
Literally, like, straight up.
They go so far out of their way to not swear.
Dean is Frank, and Hank is Joe.
Yeah. I can't argue that I don't know enough about the Hardy Boys. I mostly read Nancy Drew and
that's fair.
The Boxcar Boys.
Ooh.
I think that's what they're called.
Or the Boxcar Children or something?
Well, apparently they were still making Hardy Boys books, so
I did not read
still making Hardy Boys.
I did not read, like, your classic aw shucks Hardy Boys books. I read, like, the revamp for cool teens.
No, the 2000 ones.
Which, honestly, to me, were really good. I read, like, 40 of them, probably. No, not them. Like, let's say 15. But, like, I liked them because rather than both of the boys being, like, incredible at everything all of the time, right? Totally perfect. They kind of split the difference on them. It's like, no, Frank is the smart one. He's like, they're both smart, but Frank's the really smart one. Joe is smart, but thinks with the other head more often than not, and kind of ends up being stupid, but he's really athletic. And so it gave them more like a personality each, and I'm like, no, I really like that. Rather than them just both being the same character with different hair colors.
Good at everything.
Yeah.
That's why Dean's the smart one.
Yeah. And
everybody
Hank likes pretty girls in their makeup.
Don't you like pretty girls, Hank?
That's why cosmetic testing is okay.
The pilot's just... It's very different. It sets a good humor tone, but it's very, very different.
I'm excited to get into, like, the later ones. It's gonna be the slowest I've ever, like, watched a series. Like, one episode every 2 weeks. It's like keeping a chocolate bar in the freezer for when you've been good.
Brock mellows out a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of and not. It depends on the day. But it's fine. He has a license to kill, so, like, he's well within his legal boundaries.
No, this is, yeah. I really, really liked the tone and just the humor. I like the boys weirdly playing submarine. Just...
With a giant case for
Yeah.
their dad's secret invention that they have no clue what it does.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's take this stupid invention out and play submarine.
Like it, and again, like you said, the pilot is very different, and so I'm not sure what to expect, but it feels like the boys are in a different show than everyone else.
They are. That stays.
Okay, because I really like that there's like, oh, gee, what a fun little trip we're on. This is all great. Horrible things are going on around them.
It's like an entirely different concept, I guess, from the pilot to the show. Because the pilot was written in 2000, didn't premiere until 2003, and then the first season came a year after. Right,
and so if you wrote the pilot in 2000, that's 4 years you've had to think about changes you want to make.
Things.
Well, I mean, it's like with, and this is going to be a really dumb comparison, but bear with me. Like Zack Snyder's Justice League, when it finally got released as like his 4-hour Snyder cut, everyone's like, yes, we finally get to see his pure vision. And it's like, but it's not. It's not the same vision he had when he would have made Justice League in 2017. Because he's now had, I think at that time, like 3 or 4 years to adjust and tweak and modify based on fan reaction, based on his own feelings about things. This is not what you would have seen 4 years ago.
It's what he made 4 years later with the resources at his
exactly
disposal.
And so yeah, I'm very interested to see how things change from the pilot to episode 1. It's like, with the knowledge that it's like, from writing, this is a 4-year gap, or like 3.5-year gap,
all written by 2 people. I think in the later seasons they have other writers, but for the most part it's all written by this 2 people.
Wow, that's impressive. That's because, like, 7 seasons and a movie, and are the specials counted in those seasons, or are those external?
Specials are counted in the seasons.
Okay, but that's still impressive. But that's crazy.
They do use Flash for one of the specials, but I don't know if it aired on Adult Swim at all, or if it was just on YouTube.
Okay.
It might be, it's the Shallow Gravy special. I don't remember if that was an actual episode or if it was like a music video they did.
Right. Any other notes? Facts?
2 of the characters that approach Rusty at the UN thing, the guy with the big head and the albino, they become main series characters, but they weren't named until after the pilot.
Okay.
That's just another fun fact. That's Billy Quizboy and his associate, White. That's one of the fun things, I guess, rewatching it, is going through the credits and they just don't have names.
Yeah.
They're credited as, like, albino and hydrocephalic child scientist.
Albino scientist. Truly the life goal for all people.
Oh, and Dr. Professor Impossible also is credited as solar-powered car scientist. So three people who become main characters later.
Right.
Or regular characters.
I love that. It's like, there are emissions, and like just this murmuring. It emits ozone! Haha! It was to repair the ozone layer. Ah.
That's how old this is, when we were concerned about the ozone layer.
Which we still should be. And then you've got the Monarch too, which we haven't even touched on.
His costume is so silly. I forgot how it... You see it in flashbacks later, but... I forgot how fuzzy it was. And how different Dr. Girlfriend looked in the pilot. I think it's part of the Flash animation. She's very angular, and she kind of rounds out later.
Okay. For me, I think it'll definitely hit different once I actually see everyone in the non-Flash version. I was thinking they were like, go Team Venture, and it's like, they did nothing.
They did absolutely nothing.
Like
Another mystery solved.
Oh, okay. I have a question. Is Hank Venture supposed to look kind of like Fred from Scooby-Doo?
I think so.
Like, he's got the ascot.
I'll send you a picture of it later because it's upstairs. But his original drawing is a little squarer.
And so that would make him look even more like Fred Jones. Yeah, no, this is a crazy show.
Pretty much.
Scamp was horrifying.
Yeah.
That was
not what you expected to see.
No. It was violently disturbing, and probably more so because the dog seemed so chill about it. You know? It's just living its life, and I'm like, oh, that thing is skinless.
Yep.
Alright! Just seeing muscle! And sinew!
Just no skin.
No skin.
Doesn't matter.
Who really needs skin anyway? Apparently no one.
Nobody needs skin.
Apparently. Trying to think if there's anything else I observed while watching. Well, you had mentioned that this episode does suffer from, like, being very different. Again, there's that gap. But, like, you mentioned that Rusty's written differently in this one.
He's not awful.
Yeah.
He doesn't suck yet. Like, he's still regarded with a little bit of prestige.
Now, does he suck immediately in the next episode? Or does there take a little bit?
Pretty much. It's like it's a downhill racetrack.
Okay.
He just starts going downhill. The whole story kind of plays out more, but he's very much still riding on his dad's legacy.
Okay.
And has moderate success every so often.
Interesting.
That's it for tonight on the space station, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
The airlocks are opening. I'm falling out of the space station.
I gotta go rescue Colin, so we'll be back in 2 weeks, and we're gonna talk about the first episode, Dia de los Dangerous.